In today's interview, we speak with Debbie Fred. Now, Debbie has followed a healthy lifestyle for many years. She's a CrossFit enthusiast, a nutrition devotee, and she pursues activities that promote wellness and good health. As part of her devotion to good health, Debbie gave up gluten when she started breastfeeding to alleviate her first daughter's colic. When her son came along, she also went gluten-free due to the gluten allergies that he was suffering from. So, being gluten and dairy-free, her third child simply thrived, and Debbie realised that she and her family needed to eat clean and easy to digest food. To that end, she began by baking her own delectable dairy and gluten-free treats for the family, and that went on to become the basis of a successful business. Debbie now heads up a thriving business called Paleo Eats and has a number of products on the market for those following the paleo lifestyle. So let's join Debbie and Alain now and find out more about the fascinating world of paleo and how it can benefit you and your family.
Good morning, Debbie, and welcome to the Low Carb Paleo Show.
Good morning. Thank you for having
Hello,
me.
Mark. Absolutely. It's our pleasure. Hello, Mark.
Good morning. How are you?
I am fine. It looks like everybody is fine and healthy today.
Yeah.
So,
bet.
Debbie, you sound like a very busy lady. I found your name and products when we connected on Twitter. Not only you are an MRI tech. Now, what is MRI again?
Magnetic resonance imaging technologist.
Oh, that sounds fancy. And then you're a mom of three kids, a CrossFit enthusiast. You also create your own line of paleo snacks. When do you find time to sleep?
Well, luckily it's gotten a lot easier. I stopped doing MRI after 15 years this last January, so I can concentrate full time on my business. So that's helpful. A lot.
Good.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your background. How did you get into the paleo world?
I got into the paleo world mostly because of my kids. So I have 3 kids, ages 4, 6, and 8. And the 8-year-old, when she was an infant, it all started there then, 8 years ago. The common colic was a problem. And then she started getting intestinal issues, and not to be graphic, but blood in her diaper, literally, from me eating dairy and her ingesting that.
Right.
So that's when it started, my education, self-education on the topic. And then I had my middle son, and he was never on dairy. I didn't even go there. But then he had chronic intestinal issues as well, behavioral issues, skin issue, dental enamel issues. After many, many tests of, is this Giardia? We went to the lake, child psychologist visits. I figured it out that it was wheat and gluten. Yeah, so it changed his diet and his behavior did a 180. Little tummy wasn't bloated anymore, eczema gone. And then I had my third baby and I didn't give him anything, nothing. He's good. Yeah.
But you yourself, you were not allergic to dairy or wheat, so how did that come about?
Well, I supposedly as a kid was told I was lactose intolerant, and so I never did drink milk as a kid. And in fact, I don't care for it because I don't miss that. But I had no idea how much better I felt off of all those things. And it did help me lose baby weight as well. So I have never felt better, lots of energy. And now when I do, I don't ever have grains, but say maybe I have a beer, I do feel sick.
So that's how you came into the paleo world, right?
Yeah. And I've always loved baking. I'm always baking for people. And I had to change my way of baking at home for my family. And that just kind of whirlwinded into a business.
I know there's different style of paleo out there. Which one do you belong to? The paleo, primal, or which one?
I view primal as paleo, allowing a little bit of dairy. So I say that I am primal because I eat a little bit of goat cheese because it seems to agree with everybody.
Yeah, it's the same with me. I'm not anti-dairy, and I found that goat works for me as well. Goat milk, goat cheese.
Yeah,
Typically, probably because goat are not subject to all sorts of weird grain diet. They just eat what's available, and there's not so much, there's no growth hormones involved, there's no GMOs involved, there's none of
yeah,
this. So I suspect that their milk is a lot cleaner, and easier to digest and work with. So um,
exactly.
yeah. So have you changed? So I assume you have changed all your recipes and you have adapted
Uh-huh.
all of this for your kids and your family.
Yeah, and since they all started so young, they don't know any
Right.
better.
What about your
Except my,
husband? Was it
yeah,
hard for your husband?
yeah. Well, he doesn't care for goat cheese, so he's not down
Uh,
with that. I buy him the grass-fed raw cheese to compromise with that. But he loves everything I cook and bake. You really can't tell the difference with my cookies and muffins, and
yeah.
so that has been easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the same with me when I cook gluten-free. Most people don't have a clue. I mean, they just
yeah,
and
which is
then
great.
I tell them afterwards, and they go, "Wow, that was good." And I say, "Well, then nothing says that gluten-free has to be bad." So
Exactly. Uh-huh. Yeah, all my kids' birthday parties, I used to make regular cupcakes and my paleo cupcakes, and I thought, enough of that. We're just going paleo. I don't say anything. Everyone eats them and
yeah.
likes them, and it's just what I do now.
It's a
Yeah.
lot of people have this preconception that anything gluten-free or paleo has to taste weird, right?
Yeah. And I admit I've tasted some bad
Yeah,
gluten
yeah, yeah.
products out
Yeah.
there, but
That's
that's something I am trying to get across. Is mine tastes awesome, and
That's true.
that's because they're
Definitely.
homemade. You see, it's the I find it's the shop bought gluten-free stuff that tastes like cardboard on a good day.
yeah, good day. Yeah, I don't. A lot of people say, "Well, can you make this gluten free?" And I don't cook with rice flours or garbanzo bean. I don't do that at all. I am not good at that, and I don't really care for it or believe in it anyway. So
Which, of
paleo,
course, would not be paleo anyway.
exactly. Hmm.
Right, right. So that take care of that. So typically you use what? Almond flour, coconut flour?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I like mostly almond. I try to mix the two together a lot of the times, so I don't have everything with nuts in it for those who can't have nuts. But
We have talked to a few paleo ladies so far, and each one has a slightly different
mhm.
style. What would be your style compared to, let's say, Paleo Mom or Paleo My God and other ladies in your field?
Well, they all rock at blogging. I haven't. I started a blog two, maybe 3 years ago, right before my business, when I had a little more time, and I need to get back into that. But I'd say, Sarah with Paleo Mom has a history, I believe, of autoimmune issues herself, and Julie also
Yes.
with OMG. Yeah, I think she is a CrossFit coach. I don't know if she has had any issues herself. And then Kendall Kendrick, I think you mentioned, has
Right,
autoimmune
right.
too. So I don't know. They all, maybe two of them are moms. I think that we are similar with the fact that we want to, teach the paleo education to our families and kids. And I might be the only one, or maybe Kendall did, that has kids with issues that started their journey with paleo. But
It sounds like you're maybe a little closer to what's her name, Michelle Num Num Paleo.
yes, we've been in
Right,
touch. Uh-huh.
right, right. Um, but the slant is a little more Asian, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a product. I started with a line with cookies and muffins and granola and bread, and I not only want to sell my product, but I want to educate people as to why they should eat that way.
So that takes us to your bar. You have a paleo bar called the Crow Bar. I like the name, by the way.
I
Um,
love it. Thank you.
how, how how did you get started with this product?
Well, when I was an MRI tech, I was part-time, which was 30 plus hours a week with call and such. And I was baking 1 day a week, all those products. And I decided this was too much. So after a year, I stopped baking and decided just to take my most popular product and make it shelf stable because the bar had to be refrigerated because it was raw and it was pretty tough to ship that way and keep cold. So I took a year off with baking and found a co-packer to make the bar for me. So now it's shelf stable and it has a new name because the Evo bar had been taken when I went to trademark it. So I came up with the Crow bar. Yeah.
Very good. Can you tell us about the ingredients and what makes it paleo?
Yes, I take pride in every ingredient in there is paleo. I know there's a couple bars out there that say they're paleo, but see a little brown rice syrup in the ingredient list or such. But so everything's organic, GMO free, coconut, almonds, raw honey, flaxseed, medjool dates, raw cacao powder, vanilla extract, pink Himalayan sea salt. And it is paleo friendly, certified by the Paleo Foundation, so it's legit paleo.
Cool. So it sounds like a lot of work to get all of these certifications as well.
Yeah, it's good though. It's worth it. Yeah,
Good.
I'd like to get it certified organic down the road too.
So at this time you only have one flavor, but you're working on 2 new flavors, right?
Yes, they are in the R&D stage. I have a coffee flavored crowbar and a chai. Yeah.
So R&D means you're playing with food in your kitchen, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah. My co-packers are helping too, so it's going well. Just need to work on the labeling and.
So I was wondering, are your bars vegetarian and vegan as well?
They are egg-free, and not on purpose because I eat mega eggs every day, but they are.
I'm asking a question because I'm currently teaching a vegetarian vegan class, and they have a hard time finding healthy bars. Of course, I can't tell them they're paleo; they'll scream murder because they think they think paleo, anything paleo has got meat in it.
Oh, I get that question a lot. Yeah, there's no bacon. You can be paleo and it doesn't have to have meat.
If they are indeed vegetarian and vegan, you might as well use that as another, advertisement, another push.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That will open up a whole new clientele to you as well.
I honestly don't know a lot about that way of eating. There's raw honey in there, so I don't know if that would fly with them.
Raw honey would not make it vegan, but they will still qualify as vegetarian.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hear that you are trying to get your website so that we can order your bars directly.
Yes, and actually, as of tomorrow, you can purchase a 12-pack on Amazon. So that'll be
good. Okay, so Amazon, not on your website.
That is coming. It's still in the works. Yeah.
Okay.
But definitely on paleoeats.com.
Hey, by the way, what is your website?
Paleoeats.com.
Paleoeats.com?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So in the meantime, Amazon Prime, so there'll be free shipping. I love Amazon Prime.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you using it yourself?
Oh yeah. All the time.
I don't order enough from them to be worth it, but I suppose it's one way for them to get more people to order from them, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Do all my Christmas shopping on there. It's great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, so going back to the paleo world, some people think that the paleo diet is a fad. What's your take on that?
Absolutely not. Not a fad. I'm actually experiencing right now, Valentine's Day is tough for me with 3 kids and Valentine parties and Valentine candy everywhere. My middle guy, who's 6 years old, has the hardest time with digesting the grains and the dairy, and he's the one that loves candy. So he's gotten it out of the garbage a couple times, and I'm dealing with his issues all over again,
Right.
behavioral issues and intestinal. It's true. I mean, it's a lifestyle for us, and he has to be on it.
Right. And so have you been educating him, teaching him how to handle his issues?
Yes, and my daughter's great. She's awesome at it. Even my 4-year-old will come back from preschool and say, there was cheese on my gluten-free sandwich, which they gave him gluten-free bread. I have to compromise sometimes, but he said I took the cheese off. But my 6-year-old would probably binge on the cheese if he had the choice. He's just that kind of kid. But yeah, I explain, I try, and I tell him, even if your tummy doesn't hurt after you ate all that candy, you're doing damage to the inside of your body. And it's a little bit more of a challenge with him, but the candy's just in the house next year.
So the same education system can work with some kids and not so much with other kids, right? Is that what you're saying?
With some, yeah, it just takes a little more.
Yeah, because it's all about education when it comes to food allergies, right?
Yeah. Well, he'll cry and say, "I'm addicted to candy."
So is it the sugar then?
I think so. Yeah, I'm sure of it. He doesn't get it any other time, and it's in his face and he's going to eat it.
It's a powerful drug, and it does affect your behavior, and especially kids, because they're much more sensitive to it.
Oh, so true. Yeah, I think we're past it now.
So what would you tell? What would you tell moms, out there with similar issues?
I work on that all the time with people I know. I've done a couple talks at some schools. I brought in my paleo chocolate chip cookies, explain. I won't even tell them it's paleo, and they love it, and I'll explain to them why they should eat this way and how much better they'll feel. Or for instance, I was helping in my son's kindergarten class recently, and I looked over, and this little girl had just eczema all over her little hands. And I can't keep my mouth closed. I said, do you eat dairy? And she goes, no. She goes, but I eat pancakes every morning. I thought, oh, I need to talk to that mom somehow. So yeah, I do my best without being annoying, I guess.
People like us are a little more aware of what's going on. Then when we see someone in trouble, we always want to help or educate them. Yeah.
Yeah, or even my sister-in-law has a new little baby, and she's been saying she cries like her tummy hurts every night. And I said, well, are you eating any dairy? She goes, yeah, lots of milk. I said, well, maybe try taking that out and see how it goes from there. So I want to help. I want to take all my experiences and help as much as I can.
Can you elaborate in why you think paleo is here to stay?
Because I think the food that we're eating has changed so much. And I won't get into all the technicalities, but the GMOs and the Roundup, and food just isn't what it used to be. So now we need to be proactive and, take a look at what we're putting into our bodies and be knowledgeable.
Is there an anti-GMO initiative in your state, or labeling GMOs in your state?
Yes. It was I think they recounted a couple times because it was pretty close, but it ended up failing. But the awareness is there.
Next time. We'll get them.
Just going back across through your own paleo path. It was 8 years ago you said you started?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. What was the biggest change that you noticed physically, emotionally, and mentally?
With myself?
With yourself, yeah. When you changed onto the paleo diet.
I definitely lost my baby weight fast. That was cool.
Yeah.
Physically. I've always been healthy, worked out, but I was never aware of what grains do and chew. And um, emotionally, I'm not sure about that. That's a good question. I'd have to ask my husband. Maybe I'm not as moody. I don't know. But I know I feel so much better energy-wise. Don't, have to rely on coffee and, stuff like that. But yeah, physically, I think was the biggest change.
Yeah.
For me.
And what were those changes? Just to sort of dot the I.
Well, I also started CrossFit too when I started paleo because those two seem to go together well. And that's my biggest crowd that I'm trying to approach with my bar as well.
You spoke earlier about how noticeable it is that the diet that you've chosen to give your children has benefited them. If you've got let's say a new mum or a mum of a child that has got to a point where she knows something is wrong, what would you say is the best way for her to go about trying to see if it is something to do with diet?
I recommend a lot eliminating maybe one thing at a time. Start with dairy. Take that out first. And a lot of people say, after 14 to 30 days, reintroduce it and see how their kid feels after that. Or I would say take out the dairy first, then take out the grains next, and then see.
Yeah.
Might as well keep going.
This is true. Having gone through all those processes, both with yourself and with your children, having now got to a point where you've learnt a lot, you've tried a lot, is there anything that you would do differently if you could go back and have to go through the same thing again?
I wish I knew, of course, cliche, what I know now when I was pregnant. Right. Because I wonder if my middle son wouldn't have as many issues. He's got the dental hypoplastic enamel. And those little baby teeth came up with the hyperpigmentation. I don't know if that's because of me eating the gluten and the dairy and everything when I was pregnant. So that he's had cavities and has had issues with his teeth. So I regret that. I know I can't change it. And I didn't know better at the time, but I do wonder about those things.
Yeah. I think that's natural for any parent, particularly a mum,
Yeah.
Is there something I could have done better? Yeah.
Yeah, so I do wish I had that lifestyle when I was pregnant.
I have a question about this. Now, we tend to general blanket blame dairy, but have you tried raw dairy and have you seen any difference? Or is just for you, all dairy is no good?
For myself, I'm okay with raw cheese. I've tasted raw milk. I didn't care for it just because I haven't really acquired it. I didn't drink it growing up. But, for me, it's my skin doesn't like it. I drink it.
Right, because, let's face it, for centuries, people lived on dairy. 2 generations ago, dairy was not a problem, and all of a sudden it's a problem. So I suspect a lot to do as with pasteurization, homogenization, growth hormones, antibiotics, and genetically engineered grains that the animals are fed. That's probably what affects the dairy, right?
Definitely. And I live in an awesome place where I live outside in a small, like a farm community, and there's great places for raw dairy for people that do want to compromise with that. I just don't care for it myself, but it's nice to have that option because I do think it's easier to digest.
So, you're obviously a great way down the road for paleo. Where are you going to go next?
Well, since I downsized and just brought back my energy bar, I think I will bring my paleo bread back. Whole Foods Market approached me, asked me to make one, and it was a hit, so I'd love to do that. Besides that, I really want to get into the schools with some of my healthy goods, I'd love that, to have that option. And I've been approached by one of the school districts here to do that. So we just need to work on, pricing and all those things. And they still have the old school food pyramid. And so if my cookies were to come into the schools, they would have to label that as a bread grain to get in, which is interesting, but at least it'd get in there.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe a little paleo cafe down the road. We'll see.
Super job.
Yeah, I won't stop, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I love it.
Now, in a moment, I'm going to ask Alain to write you a check for $500,000 that theoretically you could use to educate and teach and do good with a paleo type of message. What would you use it for?
I would start out with using that to go to trade shows.
Mm-hmm.
That's my next step with my product. I want to do about 5 to 6 trade shows a year and have all these stores come shop me and up my production, get my quantity up, and that way I can go nationwide quicker.
Super job. Well, I've got no more questions. We've whizzed through those pretty quick.
Yeah. That was fairly quick. So, do you have anything to add, Debbie, that you'd like our listener to know?
Just that I'd love for you to try my crowbar. Hit up Amazon Prime and then paleoeats.com in the near future.
Cool.
Super job.
Yeah.
So thank you again, Debbie, for being on the Low Carb Paleo Show.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's our pleasure. And as we say in Texas, à votre santé, y'all.
Super job.
Okay, well, thank you, Debbie, and good continuation, and stay busy as it looks like you're going to be.
Will do. Thank you, guys.
Thanks
Take
again,
care.
Debbie. Bye.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.